Alright people, how we doing? This is my new pal Hugo. He's a wee shite man, he just keeps moving about. Snakes are like that man, they don't sit at peace. See my lizard, I could sit him on my shoulder and they wouldn't move for the whole video, but these wee fuckers man, can't take them anywhere, know what I mean? Um, so I'm still sitting in my shorts and t-shirt, not even shaved or nothing, but I thought I was trying to think of something to come on and talk about, and I wanted to come on and talk about a guy that um, I was in the same block as him in Kilmarnock prison. His name was Thomas Main, but everybody called him Tonka. He was actually convicted of a murder in 2013, I think it was, or 2014. And the guy that he murdered was the brother of somebody who was quite high profile in the 80s and 90s, mid 2000s. The licensee, McGraw, his brother, right? But he was dead by this point, right? So what's happened is Tonka's been hanging about with this guy, McGraw's brother, right? His name was, he got called Fritz, I can't remember what his first name was, it was Francis or Frank or some shit like that, right? And I think they were doing a bit of this and a bit of that, right? But they've ended up having a fight or something, I don't, or whatever. I think they were boozing all the time, getting on it, know what I mean? And for the reports that I've read, because obviously I had to Google something as well, because I've never had a conversation with Tonka about what he was in for. To be fair, he wasn't really a likeable person in prison. He was like one of the guys, he was always scowling and like in Kilmarnock, and like I'm not gonna lie, I would be struggling if I could tell you I knew somebody who actually liked him or had a good word to say about him. And so he had been in a flat with this guy, and something's obviously happened, right? Because that McGraw's brother was found with like 40 plus wounds on him for a blade, obviously, and the one obviously that's killed him, right? But it was overkill as well, right? Because he had, his lungs were punctured, his heart was punctured, all his vital organs. So he's no missed them, do you know what I mean? But as I says, his brother was dead by this point, and I want to say that I never knew Tam McGraw, right? I just want to put that out there. A lot older than me, obviously, and all that shit. But the stuff that I read, like, about this case was a bit, I don't know, like, because they said in court that Tonka, how you move? Tonka, after doing this, had went to a phone box in the centre of Glasgow, right, and phoned, it didn't say in the report if he phoned the police to report it, phoned the fucking like a doctor, or phoned his family. But anyway, I think it might have been a relative he phoned, right, and he's phoned and his relatives told him, listen, the police are on to you, they've found your blade and your clays. And I think at that point he just knew, right? So anyway, he's been took in for questioning, right? And I think he was getting at this spiel. He was getting at this spiel. Oh, it might have been his brother, something to do with his brother, but coppers on the daft, man. McGraw was fucking long gone by this point, man. He died in like 2008 or something. So this is like 7-8 years later, nearly a decade later, right? So he's ended up got to court, and it came out in court, it said that they called him a court ghoul, right? A court ghoul, because he used to go to see murder trials in the Glasgow High Court and just sit in the gallery and watch. And I don't know if even there were trials that were anything to do with him or linked to him or nothing, because I don't think he wasn't like a major player. He was just a guy for a scheme like myself, know what I mean? And he just knew somebody who was related to a like high profile person in the crime scene in Scotland. And like some of the people who knew him were like asked for comment, and they were saying things like, oh, he was always like dropping the McGraws into conversation, see, like all that shit. So obviously he's been convicted, and he's been given life. But where the story gets a bit more interesting is so Tonka and a good pal of mine in prison, a boy that I've known since the young offenders, scary boy, man. Don't mean he scares me, but he's unpredictable, and see, if you've got a problem with this boy, man, you would need to be on your toes, right? Just a dangerous guy, man, but he's got a similar background to myself, do you know what I mean? Like, what a trauma and tragedy in his life growing up. He's a good laugh as well, but him and Tonka had a falling out or something, right? And I swear to God, you could just feel the tension in the hall between the two of them. But I knew for a fact my pal would weigh him, right? My he's mad, right? I've no heard from him since I got out, obviously, right? But one day, I can't even remember what it was they were arguing about, right? Because Tonka was one of the guys, he was always kind of like getting into arguments with people, right? And he's one day we were standing on the top landing looking near the banister, right, me and somebody else. And I can't even remember who I was standing next to. I think it was a boy from Greenock who's passed away, I'm sure. My pal was standing, like, he was sitting on, see, one of the tables, the dining tables with the four chairs. He was sitting on one of them and he had his back to Tonka. But Tonka was at the other end of the hall playing pool or snooker. And I've just clocked him walking straight. He's heading in my pal's direction. But when you had a pool cue, you had it down at the bottom, the fat end. He turned it round as if he was going to swing it right off the back of my pal's head, right? And me and the boy for Greenock just shouted my pal's name, and that Tonka, it's as if he's just stopped in his tracks, right? So obviously, what happened was, I think it was the next day or something, man. The doors have opened and all, and see, when something's going to kick off, man, everybody knows about it. Not, I mean, well, just about everybody. Not everybody, but most people, if you've got your finger in the pulse, you know what's going on, do you know what I mean? So anyway, all you, away for there. The next day, it was a weekend day, like Saturday or a Sunday, right? And that Tonka walked by my pal and said something. Come here, Joe. And my pal shouted him in his cell. The door slammed shut, and all you've heard like a cartoon, bang, crash, wallop, like fucking paint tins were getting flung about the pitch, right? So, that fucking, next thing I know, right, that Tonkas, people are turning up their radios and their like their music so the screws don't hear it. That's what people do, right? Like, if something's kicking off, you to drown out the noise of somebody getting smashed, right? Because they're trying to, like, buy you time, get you away with it, whatever, right? No try to jailbait you up, know what I mean? And that Tonka's walked out the fucking cell, hadn't he, man, looking like a fucking bus couch, man, blood pissing out his face. See the way I looked on that photo? Like, with my brother, that picture with his blood on me, he looked like that, but his face was like the elephant man, right? Eyes all burst open and all that. Fucking, I've just ran out of my pal's cell, right? But see, as soon as I got to the front of the cell, I just stopped dead in my tracks. I could smell the blood, see that mad iron smell, that metal smell. Could just smell that, and there was blood spatter. See, like when the high impact hits something, it's like a spray. That was everywhere. There was puddles all over the flare and all that. And I was like, what the fuck, man, right? So he's just walked out, man, pure pumped up and all that. And screws have came and all that, and they moved that Tonka. My pal went to the orderly room. I can't remember what happened to him, but I don't think he got the seg, but I would be lying if I said I remembered. He got a punishment, says Terry took off him for fucking 2 weeks or whatever, right? And that Tonka's been moved to D Hall. We were in C Hall, come on, he get put in D Hall, right? And after this, man, so this was like a year before I got out, right? So this is about 2018 maybe, right? Maybe closer to 19, but that Tonka, I'm gonna kill you. That Tonka started hammering that legal high, right? I mean hammering it. And people were all talking about how he was hanging, people were talking about him, and as I said before in my video, that shit's evil, man. That is the dodgiest shit that's ever hit the jail. I would rather guys in the jail were taking any drug than taking that, because the effect I seen it have on people that are just like talking to you the way I'm talking to you now, and then just losing their minds, literally losing their minds, and having outbursts and fucking try to like self-harm, thinking there's fucking spaceships coming to beam them up and all this fucking shit. And it was a horrible sight, man. It was a fucking horrible sight to see, because as I said before, like, my kid had seen a video on YouTube, and it was some guy in the jail, and he was having a breakdown, and my kid said, imagine that was your dad, that video's out there for life now, do you know? And it's just a fucking, when you put it into that perspective, a child saying that, it's just like that was like a gut punch to me, man, because I just had images of my son, like if I had been doing all that, seeing me like that, and it was horrible, you know. So fucking what's ended up happening as well, right? That Tonka's been doing laps, like walking, running circles in the wing, and there was boys all sitting playing poker, and he's walked up behind one of them, and tried to do him with a fucking razor, and the boy that he tried to do, I knew him for shots, he's a Greenock boy, one of the soundest boys I've ever met, right? And he's never the type, he was one of the guys he got on with every mess, he got on with all the boys, right? He was brand new, man, the guy. As I says, I knew him for when I was in B Hall and shots, right? Sound as fuck, couldn't he? One of the best guys I can remember meeting in the jail. So I don't know if he's trying to nip him because he's out his fucking box and thinking people are plotting against him and all that, but I wouldn't be surprised, because that's what that legal was like, man. I seen guys getting assaulted off people who'd been using all of that legal, and the guy hadn't done nothing, but the guy that was taking the legal swore that he was planning something, and I'm like, how does that even make sense to you, mate? But you can't argue with somebody that's fucking lost the plot, do you know what I mean? So I don't know what happened to Tonka after he left. Kilmarnock, obviously he's wetted his egg, right? Because they're not keeping you in the hall if you start doing shit like that. And then, so while I was kind of looking up his case online, just to find out like wee court details or whatever, because I don't really, I knew when I met him in Kilmarnock, I knew what he was, I knew who he'd killed and all that, but he was never somebody I had a conversation with, do you know what I mean? As I said, he had one of their faces, he just didn't look like, he looked like the type of guy that liked an argument, if you get me. But as I say, man, in the jail, Do you know what I mean? You're not got to take any shite. You know what I mean? You just need to. If he tries to start a shite with you, man, you just need to fucking put him in his place. Do you know what I mean? Know that you want that to happen, but you have to do what you have to do in these places, man. And you know what I mean? But when I'd been looking up his case online, I seen that he must have been moved to Shorts after that happened in 2018, 2019, because when I looked him up online, I seen that he'd been convicted of like slashing a screw in Shorts, or trying to slash one of them with a razor. I didn't pure like go to read the full thing. I just kind of glossed over it like fuck's sake, man. Like, and he get convicted for that. And so if this case is for 2020, it probably happened in 2019 or something. Do you know what I mean? Because unless he pled guilty to it, he's not going to go to court straight away. Fuck's sake. I done a breach of the peace in the fucking jail. I get done with a breach of the peace in the jail. It took 2 years to get me to court, but I think they were just trying to get me to plead guilty to it, because see, getting up and down to court all the time, it is fucking brutal, man. I hate it. The only good time that I ever remember got to court during that time was one time me and a boy from Kilmarnock went to Glasgow Sheriff. We get put in the iron lungs with 2 boys, right? One was for Tory Glen, one was for Drumchapel. I'm sure one was for Tory Glen, but I can't mind his name. And the boy for Drumchapel, I'd heard a lot of people speaking about him and speaking, no saying anything bad about him anyway. And he's pulled a parcel out, hadn't we, man? So we were all sitting fucking getting mad with it. Doing patsies and popping trammies, all that shit, man. We're getting back to me, and this was do you know how I remember it? Because see, on the way back to the jail, it was when that Ariana Grande concert attack happened, right? That's how I remember it. Me and this boy were getting back to the jail at our box, man. But one half in it, know what I mean? Fuck it. Do you know what I mean? And see, when you're sitting in there, like, that's what I'm saying with a lot of guys getting full of ego, not. I think some people just give up hope, man. And then before you know it, they're a shell of who they were. Do you know what I mean? It's horrendous, man. You've got to imagine what somebody's family's going through, like looking at their son, their daughter, taking that shit, man. It's fucking... Oh, it's not even a drug, man. It's just fucking poison. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's wee shit, man. Like, he's alright, isn't he? Mother Snake's hiding. He's bigger than him. Do you know what I mean? An albino corn snake. He's got big red eyes, not. He's sneaky as fuck, man. He sits still, right, and then makes you think he's just sitting there and seeing you turn your head and then look back and he's gone, man. One time he went in my couch and we ripped the couch apart, pulling the cushions out, shaking it and all that, and he wasn't coming out. But I seen that he was in the couch, right, so I left him. Then next thing I know, he was gone and didn't see him for months. One day I'm sitting in the toilet, right, then I sit down reading a book, and I does that, and I kind of looks at something, see like all the top of the book. I looks all the top of the book and I just sees this wee head poking out the fucking skirting. Let's see, know the skirting board, so know how the casing, there's casing that goes round the bottom of my like toilet and that to because there's know how the heating pipes, they're encased in like a plastic kind of casing, whatever you want to call them, like trunking. And he was under the bath, the wee shit. And I was like, you dirty bastard, man. Had to put food out. And then he came away out to get the food. And when I ran in to grab him, he was way back under, like, ha ha. I like a game of hide and seek with him, I must admit. But so that was him, right? He was under the fucking bath. And then my kitchen's through the wall for the bathroom, right? And one day I went to walk into the kitchen, there's like a wee void in between two of my cupboards, and I just saw his fucking head poking out it like an upside down periscope. I was like, you dirty fuck. But we got him that time. I wasn't letting him go that time, know what I mean? But I stay in flats, you imagine he'd got into somebody else's fucking house. I had to say to the concierge and that, MD fucking finds a snake in her gaff, it's mine. So, that's how somebody gave me him with the setup and all that, because it was her son's and he'd moved out and he couldn't take it with him, and they weren't, obviously I think she didn't like reptiles, so she's like, do you want it? She just stays across the road, so I was like, fucking give us, I'll look after him. So hope you found that interesting. I want to come on and do stuff about like prison rehabilitation and the assistance for crime, but I don't know, some years ago I find that interesting, like, do you know what I mean? But to each their own, innit? So I'm gotta go make something meat, man, and get fucking changed and shaved and that. So I hope that was a bit entertaining, and I'll catch up with you next time I'm on, right? Take care.